Ben Hoover is live outside the Billy Graham Library in Charlotte with more on the arrangements and the events of this day. Ben.
Well, Tom, I spoke to a lot of people here. Of course, the library was open to the public, regular hours until 5 p.m. this evening. The library will be closed tomorrow, we should say. Now, folks had a lot to say, a lot of memories about Billy Graham. The one resounding message I noticed that everyone that I spoke to had to say, they tell me you never heard one bad thing, not one scandal in a career that spanned more than 60 years.
I came to the library to give thanks for his life and sacrifice and to rejoice with his staff and Ruth at his homecoming.
Cindy Rich of Charlotte reads from her journal on what she calls the day God's ambassador was called home.
The Bible tells us to mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who are rejoicing, but today heaven's rejoicing.
At a place where Billy Graham's life as a boy still lives on, Cindy remembers her first memory of the Grahams.
I remember being at the Rose Parade as a little girl and watching this car go by with this prince and princess, I thought. And I asked my grandmother, and she said, no, that's Billy Graham, the preacher man.
We go back a long way with Billy Graham, back to when we were just youngsters. We used to listen to him on a radio that was one of these floor model radios on the Hour of Decision every Sunday night.
Larry Gray of Cary, North Carolina, remembers being at a sold-out Madison Square Garden for one of Reverend Graham's most famous crusades. He's here with his sister, Maribel Chittenden of Charlotte.
He had such an impact on my life because he was such a man of character.
A man Fred Lee Jr. says he knew from the days when Billy Graham's family lived on Park Road. Fred says he was Reverend Graham's auto mechanic.
Yeah, he was always talked about the Lord, and he really encouraged me about God, you know. And that's one reason I'm saved now, because of the things he would talk to me about, you know, while waiting on his car.
And my greatest fear is that I'll do something or say something that will bring some disrepute on the gospel of Christ before I go.
A simple man with a powerful message whose passing brings tears.
Happy tears. And you know, Billy, at 18 years old, God called him from baseball and girls and called him into a life of service.
Back here live at the Billy Graham Library. Behind me you see the entrance into the library. Of course, the glass windows that form the cross over my shoulder this way, and then the silo over my shoulder this way to resemble the family dairy farm that Billy Graham grew up on here in Charlotte. As we just learned in that news conference that we brought to you live at 3 p.m. on Saturday, his body will arrive here at the Billy Graham Library, and then on Monday, if we can go ahead and show you over this way, the Graham family home place, where we just learned his body will lie in repose there in a closed casket. More details, of course, to come tomorrow as we learn more details about the services for the Reverend Billy Graham. Live in Charlotte, Ben Hoover, 7 News, back to you in Spartanburg and Greenville.